here. I'll go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get a moment of silence, please. All right, thank you. I want to welcome everybody and people that are viewing and people that will be viewing. We're going to move on to roll call. I'm going to start with Commissioner CULBERTSON.
Here.
KAAZ.
Here.
Mike Smith here. Mr. Doug Smith.
Here.
Mr. Mike STIEBEN.
Here.
Okay. I don't think there's any spokesperson as far as this part goes, so I'll go to administrative business. Mark?
Commissioners, I think the county clerk is up here this morning.
As we did in the last election, I'm required to do an audit of 2 races with 2 precincts. In our office, we did draw out of the hat 2 different races, just to ease the complication. But I am going to ask you guys to choose the precinct that we audit. We put all of the races in a hat that had opposition between at least 2 people.
Right.
We drew out Leavenworth City Commission. So you in this box have all of the precincts that are associated with the Leavenworth City Commission. We drew out USD 469 because we have to choose a city and then a school. And then in this pile, I have all of the precincts that are associated with USD 469. We had a successful election. We had last night, before we do any of the provisionals or any of the ballots that come in till Friday, we had almost an 18.5% turnout, which is double what we usually have in city school general election. We had as high as almost 50% in Delaware Township, which was pretty unbelievable. Baser City, we had a big turnout, probably around 30%. So we did have some precincts across the county that did have a substantial higher turnout than we have seen in the past. We had a lot of write-ins that we're still determining numbers today, because a lot of that is manual for our office, which will be completed prior to the canvass next Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. So we'll just let Commissioner Smith here draw out the precincts for the Leavenworth City Commission, and that is 2nd Precinct 7th Ward, and then for USD 469, I have the precincts here. And we have Lansing Ward 2. So, Friday is the audit at 9 in the morning. We bring in 2 special boards that are not any of my employees to do a manual audit of these 2 precincts. Does anybody have any questions? Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I really I really like it when the board can choose for me because then the public can see it, and
Absolutely.
I feel that that's all part of the audit process that we're required to do.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you, and I
Thank
want to thank all the election workers. They all had a long day yesterday, and everybody that helps you out. I think they just don't get enough
I'm
recognition. You got some good folks helping.
I'm so lucky with the office staff that I have and the hundreds of election workers out there. I think Leavenworth County is so lucky. We haven't had the problems with getting election workers because people really step up to the plate. I have county employees that leave their jobs during the day and volunteer for us at the sites. And so all of it is very much appreciated, and we certainly could not, everybody always says that it takes a village, but it literally does to put on, whether it's a small election or a big election. It takes the whole community to step up to the plate. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
very much.
Thank you.
Everybody have a wonderful day.
You too.
All right, bye. Thanks, guys.
A couple other items, Commissioner. One, the Council on Aging has a grant application. They just need a letter of support from the Board of County Commissioners. If you could make a motion to authorize the board to sign the letter of support. It's a 50-50 match, so it's in their budget. It's an annual thing, but they just need that letter of support so they can get that submitted.
Get a motion, please.
Motion to approve letter of support for the Council on Aging.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye.
KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Smith?
Aye.
There you go, Mark.
The other item that I had that I wanted to bring up, I think it's probably been over a month ago now, but Commissioner Culbertson had brought up the potential for the county to engage a firm to go after some of these federal grants. I think right now there's unprecedented amount of federal grant money available, so it's not. There's no way I don't think that a staff member could fill that role. There's just too much available and too much to know. Plus, you have to understand how these processes work and who to talk to and how to get the grant applications in.
That's correct.
And I think our staff does a great job with the ones we're familiar with, and we continue to do that. But these federal ones are a little bit more of a challenge. And so he had brought a firm to me. We interviewed them and then have looked at one other firm. But I don't know if Commissioner Culbertson, if maybe you want to.
Yeah, this kind of stems from trying to go after the pilot checks from the federal government. When me and Chad went out to D.C., it was evident that we're going to need some professionals to try to get this accomplished. And then we kind of switched gears from the pilot check program, because that I don't think it's impossible. I think it can still happen, but it's going to take a lot, to a grant sourcing. And this kind of crosses over into the grant writer that we were going to try to use anyway. These folks are just more versed in federal grant applications and processes, and they've got people in place, the right places at D.C. and the right connections. So basically, my idea is this is temporarily to be in place of getting pilot checks for right now. So I think you got to spend money to make money, and this is one of those situations. A couple $1,000 investment will bring us back millions of dollars.
Is that what it is?
Are
So,
they percentage
yeah.
based, or are they?
That was my next question.
I would like to put it on next week's agenda if the board's
Okay.
supportive of it.
Okay.
But they have their process is basically you pay them a retainer. The first, I think it's the first 3 months, it's just a month to month. So if at any point in time you just don't think it's going the way you thought it would go, or you're not getting results, you're out whatever you've paid them to that point, which it's not. It's not a significant amount. So
Yeah, I think too, Mark. I think Commissioner Culbertson, you're both absolutely right. In my former life as Mayor of Lansing, we hired people to come in, and there's where we were successful. You get people that do this for a living, they know the ins and outs, and they can at least put us in the ball game. You know, it's like the Braves were, you know, when they won the World Cup.
There it is.
But anyway, but you have to use the professionals on something. In-house can do some things, but you're absolutely right, in my opinion.
So, just one thing I think, and we visited this morning, but you're also going to follow up with that group from the KAAZ that we visited with
Yeah,
next week?
Yeah, I talked to him this morning after I talked to you.
Okay.
Yep. So.
Yeah, that's a good thing too. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, I'll put that on next week's agenda then for a formal consideration, but I just want to give you a heads up first to make sure that's something that the board would support.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I have.
Let's start. Jeff, you have anything before we get going?
Yeah, I wanted to ask if we can put the rezone for the Weehee tract back on next week's agenda for consideration in light of new information that was turned in, instead of making them wait a year, since the information that was given answers pretty much the reason that it didn't pass the first time.
Did they submit an? Did he submit a
Plan.
paperwork?
Plan
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, plan for splitting, which is, I think, the only reason that we were waiting.
Plan was what I'd heard, yeah. How y'all feel about that, commissioners? I'm fine with it. I mean, we've already done it once. I think if no one has a problem, we can bring it back. If everyone's
Planning
okay.
Commission voted 9-0 to approve it,
Yeah.
and staff recommended approval, and we denied it.
Yeah. So everybody okay with us bringing it back?
Yep.
That's
Need a
fine.
motion, or
We need a
is that your
motion.
motion?
To put it on the agenda for
They
next
just
week.
put it on the agenda.
I
on
think
consensus.
it'd be best because you voted it. Well, it failed. It was a 3-2 vote, but it failed
No.
because you needed a supermajority
Right.
because there was a valid protest petition. So I think you would want to vote to put it back on the agenda because that also would be contrary to our current policy.
Yeah. I need a motion.
Is that right, Dave? So I make a motion that we place the Weehee rezone back on next week's agenda.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on that? Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye.
Commissioner Collins?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner
Aye.
Smith? Commissioner
Aye.
Stephen? Okay. Jeff, you have anything before?
That's it.
Vicky? Okay. Just before we get to my little shout out, and probably should wait to the end, to the Lansing women or girls volleyball team 5A.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
They
Yay.
took state championship. They've been working. They've been coming second for a lot of times. Know a lot of those families, and I know a lot of the coaches, and that just makes me proud that happened in Lansing, but also it happened in Leavenworth County. So just my shout out to them.
We also forgot to
Congratulations,
recognize the golf person. Leavenworth? Is it Leavenworth, Mr. Herring? You're correct, Leavenworth.
What's that right?
A few weeks ago in the paper, we had somebody on the front page there.
Yeah, I did say that.
Yeah.
Well, I apologize for that because I definitely want to acknowledge things like that. It's not easy. I mean, those are hard. They
It's
put a lot of hours.
Yes, they
A
do.
lot of hours. My son got a scholarship to play football down Fort Scott. You know, he thought it was going to be something. Well, you get scholarships, or when you do something even in high school that hard, it's a full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to be the best, you have to put in the time. Anyway, so hats off to the golfer. I'm sorry I missed that. That's all. Do you have anything you want to bring up before we go?
No, but I got it. We'll bring it up when Bill comes up.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah, I do have one thing. It's about the election, but I think it's the most significant thing that's happened to our country in an election, probably in our lifetime, and I don't think we realized it. But Winsome Sears will become the Virginia Lieutenant Governor. She's the first female and woman of color to get elected in the heart of the Confederacy. Now, if you don't think we've made racial progress in this country, that is a huge, huge thing for America. And I think that when we have things like this happen, I think we should highlight it. It's a big deal. And I just think, it's one step at a time on those issues, but that's a big win.
Thank you, Mike. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Is anything that needs to be removed?
Yes, I need to remove the check register, please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent agenda minus the check register.
I'll second that.
Motion and second. Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye.
KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the check registry section of the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Motion and second. Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye.
KAAZ?
Abstain?
Aye.
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 Okay. Okay, coming to formal board action. Consider a motion to approve the application for non-matching juvenile crime community prevention grant and authorize the chairman to sign. Good morning.
Good morning.
Jane.
This is pretty straightforward. We have already sent in the application, so I sincerely hope that y'all approve it. But,
You talk about full disclosure, you're right.
well, I just like to be transparent. I think that's how you get trust.
Okay.
But-
Pressure's on.
This juvenile crime community prevention grant, we have requested $77,000 for the first 6 months of 2022, and then for the next fiscal year, $151,966. Essentially, this prevention grant will solve several issues that we currently have. We received a JCAB grant in the past to start our Youth Justice Resource Center. However, that is statutorily defined funding criteria, which only allows us to use those programs that are evidence-based for families and youth of juvenile offenders. And this prevention grant will allow us to expand our reach to work directly with schools and not just wait for kids to commit crimes or be picked up and come through intake because of a laws violation, but also youth who are struggling with dual issues of welfare concerns in the home, but also exhibiting delinquent behavior. And then, we can take it on the front end instead of waiting for them to come to us. And I think that would be truly beneficial to the community as well as my staff that's currently underutilized because our juvenile population is a little bit lower on the offender side. So pretty straightforward.
Any questions or concerns? Mr. KAAZ and I have said through this. So,
Yep.
good.
JCAB meeting, and we
If
fully
there's
support
any
this.
discussion, I'm sure we can answer any questions, but I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to authorize the chairman to sign the grant application, non-matching juvenile crime community prevention grant.
Second?
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Good job, Jamie.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Good job on that, Jamie. Thank
Glad
you.
this went my way.
Keep turning
You're
those
okay now.
applications for grants in.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I have the grant app on my phone. Always let me know.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one. Thank you.
Okay, next item is consider a motion to approve preliminary engineering for HRRR project on Tonganoxie Road in amount not to exceed $24,960. Morning.
Morning, Commissioners. This is the third or fourth time that this application in the process of approving has been in front of you. This is just a continuation of the Tonganoxie Road high-risk rural road project. It is a contractual agreement for our 10% matching funds. We do have to pay the cost up front, and it is a reimbursement for the preliminary engineering. So we will pay that from the capital improvement budget and then reimburse it and put that money back into that fund. It is not to exceed after reimbursement of $24,960. That's with the 10% contingency. Preliminary engineering estimates put out by KDOT are generally 10% of the overall cost, which in this case resulted in $178,000.
Okay. Concerns, comments?
It's my area.
Hey, Doug.
So, Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the preliminary engineering for the high-risk rural road project on Tonganoxie Road in the amount of not to exceed, we'll just say $25,000.
Okay.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion on this?
This is like what I'm talking about, where sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
Yeah. Okay, I'll call the roll. Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye.
Mr. KAAZ?
Aye.
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 Passes. All righty.
I just want to make a
Go ahead,
comment.
Go ahead,
Once again, express appreciation to you, Bill, for all these applications for these grants, and these high-risk road projects are really
Yeah,
going to benefit the county.
yeah, absolutely.
Keep putting them in.
Actually, my question was for Aaron, I think.
Okay.
It was on the sewer district.
That's
Maybe
not-
you can answer it? Or maybe
Maybe not.
A can on that.
Stay out of the sewer.
We had talked earlier, Baser came to us about a study on Ginger Creek Sewer District, and it was like $21,000. Where are we at on that? Or
Yeah, I think, in fact, you probably see that in Aaron's weekly report that pops up. One of the things that we were waiting to potentially get in place first is the funding agreement with Baser, which talked about waiving the connection fees if that project goes forward. I think we were kind of waiting to do that study until we have that agreement in place, because it will make a huge difference in the viability of that project. But if the board would like for us to go ahead and proceed and get the engineering started, we certainly can do that.
Well, no, I think we got to work with Baser on this. We got to work out all the details, but I don't want to see it fall in the cracks either,
Stay on
because
top
we've
of
got to do a study. We got to know. We don't want to end up like another Ginger Creek and do a knee-jerk reaction, and we want to make sure it's fair and for the patrons of the sewer district.
Mark, what's the time frame on this? To keep it in front of us.
So this particular part, there's two things moving here: the agreement with Baser for the funding of 155th Street, and then this. There's really not a target date right now to do this project. It's just to get the engineering done on it. So we definitely have it on our schedule. I think, like I said, Aaron has it on his weekly report. Weekly, so we've been watching it. But again, we're probably at that point where we could start that engineering work, and then when they come back, the feasibility of it will make a difference on whether or not Baser agrees to waive those connection fees.
Well, that's true.
So that's the only thing I think the board has already given us the direction we need to proceed. It's just kind of a timing thing on it. So.
Well, I would sure like the county to be out of the sewer district business.
Yeah.
I mean,
We can move that up.
opinion. I mean, it's going to be one
I
at a
think
time.
so. It'd be a
We
good
haven't
idea.
decommissioned one for a while, so it's probably
Yeah.
time.
It definitely is the next one. It makes
Well, yeah,
no
and that's
sense.
why I brought it up.
Yeah.
It actually touches the city limits of Baser, and it's their growth area. So,
But I want the study in place to make sure it's done right.
yeah. Yep.
That's all. I'm sorry I got off the agenda, but
No, that's all right. Okay, morning. Consider a motion to approve Resolution 2021-49, a special use permit for a contractor's yard for Creamer and Sons located at 21655 187th Street.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good
Before
morning.
you, as presented is Resolution 2021-49, which is a request for a new special use permit for a contractor's yard at 21655 187th Street. The applicant, Kramer and Sons, is a contractor's business, but they primarily work with water districts within the county. Due to the nature of their work, the type of work that will be on the property on 187th is primarily the storage of their vehicles, their trailers, and equipment. Their storage of material is primarily off-site. They ship the material to the work sites that they are performing on. So we are primarily talking about the storage of their material, or their vehicles and trailers and then equipment on this site. Their main operating times for business would be between 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., but due to their work, they might have some emergency hours that would need to be on call during evenings and weekends. The neighborhood is comprised of residential and agricultural uses, which is not usually compatible with a contractor's yard, which is more of a light industrial use. The request does not match the comprehensive plan due to it being designated as residential. However, the Planning Commission did review this, and they voted to recommend approval of 7-0 with the conditions that were provided in the staff report. The applicant's narrative and the full staff analysis was provided in the staff report, so if you have any further questions, please let me know.
How many years was this one going to be approved for?
5. Yeah.
Commissioners, since you brought up the number of years, one thing to take into consideration is at our last work session, we're looking at changing some of that language on how SUPs get renewed. So I just want to make sure you.
Yeah.
Well, I actually watched this meeting, and this applicant had support of all the neighbors. They all got up and spoke, and you don't know this business. If you drive by it, you can't see it. You can't see its vehicles.
And I thought we were going to 10 years.
That's what that would be.
Was there a reason they only wanted 5? Like they only have a 5-year plan or something?
I think they were just matching what previous approvals
Okay.
have been for new applications.
It's a new application, not a renewal.
Okay.
But again, if
We don't want things
we
coming
change
back.
the process with
We don't want
SUPs,
things coming back to us as much.
this would be one of those ones that would then become a perpetual SUP, only up for review by the board if there were complaints.
Okay.
I think we should do 10 on this. Nobody complained. All the neighbors are there. They had said they don't plan on getting any bigger. Their equipment's all going to stay the same size for what they do.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like it's a huge construction operation. It's small equipment.
I have no problem with 10 years.
Okay.
I know eventually we're going to try to get away from some of these things. They won't be coming back to us, but for this
Yeah,
one,
just let staff handle it.
Yeah,
If any of the
right now.
conditions are violated, then that's when
Right.
you have a problem. But if they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, you shouldn't have to go through this process every 5 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Mark, when we switch over to the new process, will this automatically be moved?
That will be one of the things that will be considered by the board. But yes, this would be one of the ones. I believe the way this new policy would work, it would be one of the ones that would be automatically.
Okay.
And that's what we want anyway, I think.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I just had one question.
Go ahead, Mike.
The Stranger Township Fire Department concerns, were they addressed?
Yes, they did provide some responses, and the fire chief responded back that all of his comments were addressed. So.
Okay.
Okay, good.
ready for a motion?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve a resolution 2021-49, a special use permit for a contractor's yard for Kramer and Sons located at 21655 187th Street, and that the years would be limited for 10 years.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? None. I'll call a roll. Mr. Culbertson?
Aye.
Mr. KAAZ?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.
Simple and painless.
My dad did say.
Go ahead. Help yourself.
When I was in school and, not doing well in grade school, my dad said, the world needs ditch diggers too, so.
That's right. That's exactly right. All right. Take care. All righty. Next item, consider a motion to approve resolution 2021-50, a rezone from RR 2.5 to B3 located on 139th Street adjacent to the city of Basel.
Good morning. Before you is a request to rezone a portion of a property from RR 2.5 to B3. The property in question is located at the intersection of Fairmont and K7. As you can probably tell from the staff report, this is a property that is dually zoned. Currently, a portion of the property is zoned B3. The rest of it is zoned RR 2.5. So the applicant is requesting to rezone the entire property to that B3 designation. The comprehensive plan land use designation had the rest of that property zoned designated as residential, so more compatible with the RR 2.5. However, since the request is a natural extension of the B3 zoning that is currently on the property, and then also to the south, staff is in support of this request. There were concerns about traffic, which we did receive comments from Public Works about access, how it would be limited. And then an existing driveway access would need to be moved over from that corner, so it would reduce safety concerns there. At the public hearing, we did receive comments from the public, specifically that subdivision located to the west, which they did provide a written narrative that was included in the packet. However, the Planning Commission voted 5-2 to recommend approval of this request. So if you have any further questions about what was presented in the staff report, please let me know.
Commissioner?
Just went and looked at it this morning.
I don't see any problem.
Um,
Okay, if not, I'll take a motion.
I think it's the best use of the property.
Well, and if you look at
Go ahead, Jim.
Wyandotte County's,
Across the street,
it's zoned commercial and industrial all the way down that side of 7 Highway.
Yep.
So
so
it doesn't make sense to have one side of the street. That'd be like 4th Street out here being business on one side and residential on the other side
That's
of the
exactly,
street.
that's a good statement.
So,
Yep.
you're absolutely right. Now, would if there was a business application or a plat for a business, would the K7 corridor have to be included in this application process?
This definitely falls within the corridor management plan for K7. And I think the property, to your point, the property going south even on this side of the road is zoned this way.
So remind me, I don't have it right in front of me, but a B3 designation, what kind of businesses are we going to be talking about?
So that is a general business zoning district, so you would find regular commercial, so retail, restaurants, gas stations, of that nature is permitted there.
Okay.
And the highest and best use of property along a 60,000 vehicle a day highway is not residential.
When was the last 60,000 count done?
1992.
I was going to say, I think the
1992.
numbers are a little higher than that now, Commissioner. Think we can get a quick trip there?
Yeah, we do our best. At least I know the contacts now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it looks like there was quite a, I can understand the people from the subdivision, those are the people that were objecting pretty
Yeah.
much, sending it in. But you know, you live right next to a very, very critical commercial
Yeah.
area.
Highest traffic highway in our county.
So, which is, you had the two on the planning commission. What was which factor did they outline as a?
I think
believe they didn't have a plan.
that was brought up, but I think which factor that they hung their hat on was the character of the neighborhood factor. They didn't feel that it would meet that. However, the rest of the commission did feel that it would meet due to the
Well,
zoning.
it seems
Wonder where
like,
that
it seems like the
came from.
character of the neighborhood is pretty commercial.
Across the street.
Yeah,
is.
that's where it should be.
On the, like Commissioner Culbertson said, on the east side of the highway, look at the businesses there.
Yeah.
It's earmarked for the industrial
And
park.
that's the way it's
for Wyandotte
going
County.
anyway.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
You got everything. So,
Anything else, Mike?
That's all.
Okay. Did we have a motion already? Did I miss that?
I make a motion that we approve Resolution 2021-50, rezone from residential 2.5 to B3 on 139th Street, adjacent to the city of Basehor.
Second. We have a motion second. Any more discussion? None, I'll call a roll. Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye.
Commissioner KAAZ?
Aye.
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 All right, 5-0. Thank you.
And it does join the city of Basehor, so
Yep.
hopefully that would just be a continuation
That's a
of
perfect
annexation, so it'd be sewer provided
I
to
mean,
it.
that's just a good fit.
Or not, and then we get the sales tax.
Well, we've got to have sewer,
That's true.
any business.
Always reaching out to Jeff.
We don't want to put another
Well,
lagoon in.
even if Basehor collects it, they still send it here.
And that is the only intersection on K7 with a light that touches Basehor.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, it's a good location. It's a good representative.
Yeah.
Okay, going to presentation discussions. Mark, do you have anything else? David? Okay, County Commissioners, Commissioner Culbertson?
No, admin, I took care of everything I had.
Okay, Commissioner KAAZ?
Can't think of anything be attending LCDC event on Friday, representing the county. Aside from that, no. Because the city commission meeting was canceled for Tuesday night.
Mark, are we going to have anything next week for resolution or something for Veterans Day? Or proclamation, I mean.
I don't know that we typically do a proclamation for Veterans Day, but we certainly could.
Y'all have a problem with that?
No, sir.
Okay. We could add that. I'd sure appreciate it. That's all I have, Mr. Smith.
Are we going to ride in the parade, or what are we going to do, Commissioner-wise?
You going to write us?
Well,
Maybe I didn't say that right.
I was planning on driving my 57 Chevy in it. If
Okay.
anybody wants to ride with me in the back or in the front?
Ride with you.
Oh, okay. Well, it depends on the weather. That doesn't matter.
If it's not too cold.
I get 3 in the front.
Remember last year?
Be
it was
nice
pretty
and warm.
Ride
cold,
with you in the
and
front.
then,
Oh, yeah.
It's warm.
I think
Nice and warm in the
It was
front.
really cold.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I can put hay bales in the back and haul like 10, and then 3 fit in the front. So,
Well, too.
can 3 commissioners sit in the?
If
long
we
as it's
announce we're
already
gonna be
agenda.
there.
As long as you promise not to speak to one another.
Okay.
Don't discuss cash.
That's not a problem.
Well, I wouldn't mind doing something like that.
Yeah, if that'll work, and then
Yeah.
I'll do my trailer on the other float.
Yeah, okay. Keep me posted, Jeff. That sounds great.
Okay.
All right, we'll just, do we register? Do we have to get registered, though?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, register.
All right, we'll figure it out, and
All right, I like that. Hopefully
Just
no
remember to
snow.
chalk the tires if it comes to a stop.
I might need a push.
That's right.
That's why I need at
He
least
doesn't
4
make it.
people.
That's why you need people to go along with you.
I'll make sure I get body count
well, you
before
won't
I
have
say I'm
to
coming.
put a diagnostic equipment on it. We can just push start it and pop the plug.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Doug, you got anything?
Just the parade, and then I believe we got a long-term retirement tomorrow for Mike Getz.
I'm not aware if that's tomorrow or not, Commissioner. I'd have to check. I don't think I received a notice that they were having a party for him.
Okay.
He's been here a minute.
I thought I heard that, but
Could be. I'll find out.
all right.
Okay, good.
And that'd be
We're not
downstairs from 11 to 1, I believe. Lunch and he's providing
When?
tomorrow, I believe.
Tomorrow?
Cool.
I mean, unless it's next week, but I thought it was tomorrow.
I'm sure Mark will let us know.
I'll find out.
All right.
Anything else, Doug?
Yeah, that'll get it. Like I said, I just attended Bayshore City Council last week and the Township Board meeting on Thursday night. It's kind of eventful. Just,
Sometimes that's good.
yeah, that's great. No, it's just conducting business and moving forward.
Yeah.
Yep, they're well-oiled machines.
Mike?
Well, we had a town hall meeting, and it was very eventful, but I'll bring up some of those things when we're talking about the rezoning stuff and comprehensive plan when we get into that discussion a little bit more. Also wanted to invite everyone on Veterans Day. Jamie Van Houten is going to be speaking to some faith groups and faith-based at the 1866. We're going to have breakfast burritos, a little breakfast, and she's going to speak about how we can help folks that are coming out of prison and they need that little, that little push to help them stay with the right group.
Yeah.
And
And
what time in the
it's going to be at 9, and we'll try to get people out by 9:45 if they're going to go to the parade. So.
That's going to be too tight for me to attend because
Well-
we got the other
Yeah,
to
it's
get ready.
I-
We got to get it ready
You gotta
here.
line up.
so.
I can't
But
attend. I'm sorry. I'd like to.
Commissioners,
It-
the retirement is tomorrow, 11 to 1.
11
to
to
1.
1. Okay.
So that's all I have, but it should be a really. I hope a lot of people get educated on some of the things that
Yeah.
Jamie knows a lot of information.
Yeah. All right, anything else, Mike?
That's it.
Anything else from anyone else? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved?
Second.
Motion second, Commissioner Culbertson?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. Mr. Smith?
All right.
Mr.